We are live. Live on. Wait, it's not MCU Mondays tonight. What's happening? What's happening? That's right. It's Star Wars Thursday, the Cantina Happy Hour here on Geek News Now. I am your guest host, Chris. You might also know me as Vase of It's a Vase Productions, and or as the host of MCU Mondays, which we just had on Monday. It was awesome. Hey, Debbie was there. Debbie, how are you?
I'm good.
Good to
love
have you
Star
here.
Wars.
Yes. We're excited to talk about Star Wars, and since it's my day to take over and we can do whatever we want, we're just going to talk all about our favorite stuff. And since it's Star Wars, there's plenty to talk about. And we're not alone, Debbie and I. We are joined by Cam, who is commuting at the moment, but he's down there. He's here.
Yeah, because
Go on, Cam.
No, sorry, I was going to say, because, unfortunately, I work at a clinic that is an hour drive from my house, so that's, it kind of makes my schedule just a little difficult.
Yikes. Hour commute, that's rough, but at least you get to spend it with us. I mean, that's a plus, right? We're going to call it.
Absolutely.
Calling it a plus is what we're calling it. And if you don't know who Cam is, well, I don't know where you've been. But he is the Cam of Cam in Focus. That Cam. That's it. Yes. And if you don't know what Cam in Focus is, get over on the Geek News Now YouTube page. There's a whole playlist, and it's wonderful. It's Cam talking about different movies, breaking them down, telling you why they're good, telling you why they're bad. In his opinion, of course, but he's got a pretty fine opinion on a lot of films. So definitely worth checking out. Cam is in Focus on Geek News Now. Don't forget to check that out. Speaking of Geek News Now and free things, there's a giveaway. If you look in the description of this video, you'll find the link. But we have a giveaway every month on Geek News Now. This month's giveaway, there's 3 different prizes. There's that Catwoman statue there. Only 5,000 of those were made. Okay, and we can tell you which number this one. Yeah, that is one of the items up for grab. The other prize, another one is 3 Funko Pops, Selena Kyle, Batman, and the Riddler. And then the other prize is a keychain, Batman the World graphic novel, a Batman popcorn popper, and Batman stocking cap. So I think those are some pretty fantastic things that you can get for free by clicking the link and finding out how to enter below. And you can also find that link on the Geek News Now Facebook page. The monthly giveaway is always posted to the top of the page. Now that we've got through that, before we do our intro, let's just say our favorite Star Wars film. You don't have to justify it, you don't have to explain it. Let's just say that, and then we'll go into the find the theme song here because I did it special. I mean, it's the normal one, but I got it here somewhere. Where did I put it? Oh, I put it at the top. Okay, got it. So my favorite Star Wars film, and this is not surprising because it's a lot of people's favorite, is The Empire Strikes Back. That's if I had to pick one Star Wars movie to watch, I would pick that one. That's me. Debbie?
I hate you're making me choose.
You can choose that one I know it's a difficult decision. It's not easy.
Well, because I have favorites in the different trilogies, but the ultimate would probably be Empire.
Empire as well. Okay, I mean that's a lot of people's answer, and we got the Geek and I podcast with John and Jeff headed to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. I was gonna go to Tashi Station. Yeah, gotta love that New Hope. But Cam, before we go to the intro, we can wax more intellectual on these things later. But what's your favorite Star Wars film, Cam?
Oh boy. I'm probably going to get crucified for this, but my favorite Star Wars film is The Last Jedi. Don't kill me.
Last Jedi. Don't kill me. I said you don't have to justify anything right now. Look,
I was expecting that.
It may not be my favorite. I may have reasons why it's not. But what's funny is when talking to Cam, like I hear you describe the movie and you're like listing reasons why you like it. And I was sitting there going, those are the exact reasons why I don't like it. He's just saying it with a different inflection. And so that's just, it's just different people's opinion, and that's allowed, okay? So I don't want to get into any fights tonight. We're just talking about what we like, why we like it, and you don't have to defend it. You just get to like what you like. And I think Star Wars maybe should be more about that, but Hey, I've been an offender on that myself enough times. So let's go into the theme song and then start talking about all things Star Wars.
Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. Give me the Star Wars. Don't let them in. How about that nutty Star Wars bar? Can you forget all the creatures in there? And hey, Darth Vader in that black and evil mask. Did he scare you as much as he scared me? Star Wars.
You know what's great is that this has the exact same. Nothing but Star Wars. I love it. I know you guys do too. I'm sure, Cam, I know you're driving, so you don't have to show off what you're decked out in, but the mighty Vader.
I don't have a lot to show off.
That.
I'm wearing my scrubs, so.
All right, so your favorite character is that doctor who tells him Padme is dying because she gave up. What is your medical technology? She gave up. I don't care. Keep her alive. You can do it.
Yeah, this is my medical degree. I got it on eBay.
Oh, that's actually one of my favorite robot chicken bits is Dr. Ball, MD, and it's the interrogation droid, but it's got Seth MacFarlane's voice, and he's like, "What do you mean she lost the will to live? Where did you get your medical degree?" My goodness. But yeah, that's speaking of things that Star Wars we love that are outside of just, the movies, because we can pick a movie and talk about any movie. That's really what the show has been about, partially, is talking about the movies. But there's so much in Star Wars that exists outside of the movies. So we're going to talk all about that stuff right now. And so, Debbie, I want to ask you first, do you have something that screams Star Wars to you? It's your favorite Star Wars thing that isn't a movie? Like, what would you go to? Like, for me, there's books. I know other people, there's comics. I don't know, video games as well. So is there anything like that you dive into with Star Wars, or is it just movies for you?
No, I read the books. As a matter of fact, I'm rereading the Legends. I have a slew of Star Wars books on my Kindle. And yep. I also, I have on my Pandora, that's all I listen to is Star Wars soundtracks. So that's my happy place.
Star Wars soundtracks, absolutely. As far as the Legends or the expanded universe goes, do you have a favorite, if not a favorite book? Because I know there's tons there. I have on my computer actually every single Star Wars book that came out before they changed it from the expanded universe to Legends, which is like about 250 novels. Mm-hmm. So I know that there's a ton to choose from. Is there a favorite series that you have, or even time period, or because like there's the X-Wing series that's great, and that takes place kind of during the rebellion and a little bit after that. And then you've also got prequel books, you've got now sequel books that exist now. So do you have a favorite time period or a favorite couple or series or anything like that?
Legends would have to be my favorite. Anything by Timothy Zahn. I love Thrawn.
You're probably excited for Ahsoka then, and
yes,
because we've got the Thrawn being teased. He was teased a couple times in The Mandalorian, especially when Ahsoka showed up in that, and I know that that character is a huge fan favorite, and out of Legends characters that they've brought into canon, that's one of the biggest. The absolute biggest is Thrawn. And so people are wondering, will there be other characters that only existed in Legends? Because they already did bring Thrawn in for Rebels, which is canon. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I also there's not very many of them, but I also like what I would consider the Clone Wars books.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, there's not very many of them, but it's all Obi-Wan and
Yeah, there's a great one with Obi-Wan and Kit Fisto.
yeah.
I just read that one not too long ago, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's always great to see some of those Clone Wars characters expanded on. Obi-Wan Kenobi is one of my absolute favorite characters in all of Star Wars, so I love reading and seeing the Clone Wars stuff. That Clone Wars anime that Cartoon Network did back in between episode 2 and 3 coming out, that was awesome. I mean, that's before like the Clone Wars 3D TV show that they did. This was back like Cartoon Network would play it in between shows, and it would come out a little bit at a time.
The little shorts.
Yeah, but they put them together into like a DVD collection. It's like 2 DVDs, and I think now it's on Disney Plus. But I think that's definitely worth checking out. There's some great bits.
I didn't like those as much as I did the Clone Wars series, the micro series. I mean, they were all right, but it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Hey, there you go. Cam, what about you? Any opinion on the different Clone Wars series? And then the same question that I put to Debbie, kind of, do you have something outside the movies that's your go-to Star Wars thing?
Yeah. Well, as far as the different Clone Wars series, I mean, I think that each of them has their merit. Obviously, the 7. I think what is it? 7 seasons of the Clone Wars. Obviously, that show it really explores the characters. It has a much more broad story. But the micro series, it doesn't have a whole lot going on as far as story, but it was a pretty decent insight into what the Clone Wars were like, because it touched on characters that you don't really spend a whole lot of time with in other iterations of Star Wars. And so it was interesting to see how they handled themselves in a war situation, because you have Attack of the Clones, where the Clone Wars begin at the end of the movie, and then you have Revenge of the Sith, where the Clone Wars end halfway through the movie. So you don't really get a whole lot of exploration of the war itself. So it was nice to have that, even if it was only just a basic animated micro series. And as far as things outside of the films that I go to when I'm looking to explore Star Wars, I'm a big fan of audiobooks. In probably the last 2.5 years, I've listened to probably 70 plus audiobooks. And the first one that I ever listened to was the novel Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray. It's a book that explores the relationship between Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. So obviously it takes place before Episode 1, and I thought it was really, really good, especially with the narration. Jonathan Davis is a fantastic narrator. So really, Star Wars audiobooks in general tend to be my go-to when I want to explore more of the universe, the lore. The Darth Bane audiobooks are fantastic, also narrated by Jonathan Davis. The novelizations of the movies themselves are great. There isn't necessarily any one that I'd recommend more so than the other. Well, no, you know what? Actually, I lied. I take that back. The Darth Bane series, that is probably, top tier when it comes to Star Wars audiobooks. So I would definitely recommend. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I've read them, and I don't do audiobooks so much, but I would go I've read so many Star Wars books, and the Darth Bane series sticks out to me. If I were to pick some of my favorite series, like from each time period from that area, it would obviously, there aren't that many from that time period, but also it's just awesome. They're well written. The character of Bane is interesting, well fleshed out, why he turns to the dark side, what he's trying to do with the rule of 2, how he becomes more powerful than the rest of the Sith, and what makes a large group of Sith weaker than the rule of 2. All of that is fascinating background of what sets up Palpatine and Vader, essentially the rule of 2, that whole thing. That's where this began. And that the war between the Jedi and the Sith that's going on is awesome. And I keep thinking to myself, if they want to make a movie that's not in the main episodic stuff, why don't you just go back to a time like that and just do a full-on lightsabers everywhere. Go do it. You've got the technology. Okay, go do that. People have a problem with it, but that's Star Wars, of course.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you ever do find yourself with some time, honestly, audiobooks, you don't have to set aside time in your day to listen to them. You can just do them while you're driving. And what sets the Star Wars audiobooks apart from other audiobooks is that there's music, there's sound effects. It almost feels like a cinematic experience. And especially with the Darth Bane novels, Jonathan Davis isn't just a narrator, he's a voice actor. So he lends a unique voice to every character, and eventually, like I got to the point of where like his voice for those characters are what I would imagine those characters would really sound like. So in that sense, there really is a good sense of immersion.
Like a regular audiobook would be like,
oh yeah,
if I read the story to you, maybe did some voices, whatever. A Star Wars audiobook is like C-3PO in Return of the Jedi talking to Ewoks. He's like, and then Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker. It gives you the atmosphere, that you're looking for. It's like, I was really there. These sound effects are killer.
I've listened to just one audiobook, and this was eons ago when I used to work in a factory, and so I had it on my
is it a droid factory?
And no, it's a car factory. Transmission factory. I had a nano iPod, it was like
the little
big,
tiny.
Back in the day, had all my music on it. But somehow I got that. I think I got that for free or something, and that was probably the most awesome thing ever because it was the Revenge of the Sith book.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was really good. It was really good, but I just I live like 5 minutes from work, and I work in a medical office, so I can't really sit there.
Yeah, it doesn't lend itself to listening for a long period of time. When you get road trips, you could break it out, I'm sure. But when you said the Revenge of the Sith book, and I've read tons and tons of Star Wars books, but if I had to pick one book to recommend, it would probably be that one. The Revenge of the Sith book is awesome.
I wish they would have stuck more of that into the movie.
Well, it's some of it. It's difficult just because the nature of the format of the media. Like, you can do things in a book or even in an audiobook that you can't necessarily do on screen. Like, you can have a narrator. Yeah.
Even some of the lines that Hayden gives, shortly after he turns into Darth Vader, those were some my opinion, some iconic lines that I thought would have killed it in the movie, but they decided to leave that out. So.
Yeah, and as a pair, the novelization of Revenge of the Sith and the prequel to the prequel novel Labyrinth of Evil, I think that they're a really, really good pair of books. You read Labyrinth of Evil. Yeah, you read Labyrinth of Evil, and then you transition right into Revenge of the Sith, and it's just such a smooth transition. It feels like one big cohesive story.
Which is one of the things I like about Star Wars in general. The Star Wars universe. Let's take a look. We got some people in the comments. Andy Spence, we were talking about our favorite films. My favorite is Return of the Jedi. First ever saw at the cinema, and it was amazing. I got to believe, the first one I ever saw at the cinema was actually probably The Phantom Menace. And that still holds a very dear place in my heart. I just have a hard time ever picking any. Like, if someone were to say, "What's your favorite Star Wars?" Like, you have to pick one. I have a hard time picking anything that's not in the original trilogy, just because I'm like, there wouldn't be all this other stuff without that. I gotta. But I respect other people because some people say, like, even when people say Revenge of the Sith, I'm like, look, I love that movie, but how could you pick it over the original trilogy? But it's all the way that I feel is the way everyone feels. It's the beauty of life, is that there's differences You know,
Yeah,
so
I like them all. I'll watch them all at least once a year, but I just have my absolute favorites in each trilogy.
well, that makes sense too.
The original Empire, the prequels is Revenge of the Sith, and then the sequels would be Force Awakens. Had a brain fart. Force Awakens.
Pierce chimed in and said it's Empire for a reason. Yes, that's another reason I love that movie is the cinematic history behind it all. That's another thing that I love about Star Wars is the way that they pushed and still in a lot of ways do continue to push the bounds of what you can do with cinematography, with special effects. I mean, Lucasfilm, their productions, it's called Industrial Light and Magic. Because part of the things with camera is everything that you see is like how much light you're picking up. So light and magic. Magic is movie magic. Their business is light and magic. It's kind of perfect. And they are some of the best in the business. I even remember when Endgame came out and Last Jedi was coming out, or Infinity War, or whatever around those times things were coming out. And everyone knows, if they know me, that I'm not a big fan of The Last Jedi, but I was like, hey, the special effects are better than Infinity War and Endgame and stuff they're doing there. Like, they know what they're doing. And I got to give props to their props. Matthew Cooper said, sorry to jump in. Please jump in. Hyper jump in. Have you seen Snatch Wars? That sounds dirty. Audio from the movie Snatch. Oh, dubbed over Star Wars. No, I've never even heard of that. But that sounds amazing.
I haven't either.
The movie Snatch dubbed over Star Wars. That's something to put that down in my notebook. Andy Smith's back. We were talking about Star Wars music. Rey's theme is awesome. Yeah, she had some of that. I mean, John Williams, I don't think he's ever done bad. I've never heard something by John Williams and be like, ugh.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear his theme for Kenobi.
Theme for Kenobi. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah, I can't either. I thought he was too, you know, because what was it, last year or the year before, you know, people were saying, John Williams is retiring from Star Wars, and people were making, you know, a big hullabaloo over it, and then he comes out and says, haha, just kidding.
Okay. It looks like the way our screen is set up that it says it's the can't hour behind us.
What?
But it's the Cantina happy hour, which is much more, I feel like, optimistic than it's the can't hour.
Who's they? What the hell is an aluminum falcon?
Welcome to the Cant Hour. Next up, Alderaan. Got him. All right. Speaking of Kenobi, because I love Kenobi, my favorite character. Actually, before we talk about Kenobi, I guess I'll just mention that my favorite character, if I had to pick one, I really don't know if I could, because I've always had two favorite characters, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Boba Fett. And of course, I love other characters, you know, Darth Vader, Luke, Chewie, Han. There's so many amazing characters. At Qui-Gon in Star Wars, Kit Fisto is my dude. I could just name them all, but I won't. But so, like I said, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Boba Fett, my two all-time favorite characters. Debbie, if you had to pick 1 to 3 characters, and Cam after Debbie. And I know a lot of people are big fans of this fella now.
Yes.
The Baby Yoda show. His name's Grogu. Yeah, okay. His name's Baby Yoda. Look at him. His little baby.
Well, I'd have to go with Harrison because he's been my secret boyfriend since 75. So I have to go with Han Solo.
I have to go with Sexy Ford. I mean, Han Sexy. I mean, Han Solo,
Han
played
Solo.
by Harrison Ford.
Ewan McGregor. I mean, you just can't top that. And then I love Hayden.
I feel like you're naming actors.
Well, no, I mean the characters that they play. Kenobi
and that ties into it. I mean, that's part of the reason I do love Kenobi
Yeah.
is Alec Guinness and Ewan McGregor both being awesome. Qui-Gon Jinn, you know, people are like, Phantom Menace is terrible. And I was like, there are things about the Phantom Menace that are terrible. But the Phantom Menace is not terrible.
So,
but there are things about like anyway, we don't need to go into that right now.
So Han, Obi-Wan,
I won't do it.
and Anakin.
It's okay, Chris. It's okay.
Yeah,
I can take it.
If I start flying into criticisms, you give me one of these.
Ooh.
It's not what we're here for, okay? We're just here to embrace the goodness, all right? There are other times where I'll just go to town on it, but that's not what we're here for today. Other times...
My gun.
Oh.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang!
Wow.
Bang!
Yeah, look at it. But today, no, we're just talking good stuff. So, Debbie, you said Harrison, you said Ewan, and you said young Anakin, not little Anakin, but...
Yeah, no, Hayden.
So, pre-Vader.
Yes, pre-Vader.
Hayden, who... Well, I guess let's do Cam first. Cam, favorite... And they don't have to be from the films necessarily. They can be legends or...
Well, then I have to stick Ahsoka in there.
Nope. Too late. Too late. It's not your turn anymore. Yeah. Well, yeah. I do love all the characters from the films, but as far as characters that I think of when I think of my favorite characters from Star Wars, first and foremost is Darth Maul. Because honestly, in the Phantom Menace, he was just the guy who was there to look cool, be evil, and look awesome doing it.
And he did it.
Yes.
And I'm all out of chewing gum, so guess what?
Yes, definitely. And then, but then you get like, novels like Maul Shadowhunter, fantastic book. The Clone Wars really fleshed out Maul's character more, and then various comics and stuff that have come out since then, and then you see him in Rebels where he's explored even more, and it's like his story from beginning to end is one that I've really found myself very invested in. Beyond that, Kanan Jarrus is another one of my favorites. I'm a huge fan of Rebels. I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea. I get it, but I think I find it to be exceptionally well written, very exciting. It caters to fans of all types, and he was my favorite character in the show. And for a third character, I mean, honestly, Vader. that's definitely. Yes, that's definitely a given there. I mean, the story of Anakin Skywalker. I mean, you could almost call it the tragedy of Anakin Skywalker. It's just such a great story, and Vader is one of, if not the most iconic character in all of Star Wars. And so I'd be remiss to not give him the love he deserves.
Yes, you absolutely would. And for anyone that's interested in finding out more about exactly how it's like a tragedy, not just like a tragedy, it is a tragedy, and what George Lucas was talking about when he said they rhyme. I know a lot of people like to use that as a joke, but it actually goes back to the teachings of Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey that Anakin and Luke both go to, and the places where their paths differ, and the places where their paths are exactly the same. Overconfident, getting your arm chopped off. Do you end up learning from that, or do you make the same mistakes as your father did? And the symbolism of the mask. Vader, it's keeping him alive. The persona of Vader is keeping Anakin Skywalker alive. And he can't take the mask off by himself, even at the end. He says, Luke, help me take this mask off. He couldn't do it by himself. He needed the help, and that's something that translates to the real world. Just like when you have people that become a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you get it up in your head that, oh, I'm just this and I can never be anything else, I'm just a drug user or whatever, you know, and you become addicted to that thing, like the dark side or whatever it is, and then people start to see you in that way, and so you see yourself in that way, and now all of a sudden that's your persona. And sometimes it takes someone believing in you to get you out of that, and you can't do it by yourself. And that's what it and that's all of the stuff that's tied into that are universal life lessons, things that have been in storytelling since humanity started telling stories in order to learn from them. And they incorporated it into a new setting, and used, you know, brand new award-winning special effects to help tell that story in a new way. So all of those things together make Star Wars one of the that's part of what made it a cultural phenomenon. And all of the other studios started using that Joseph Campbell. There's a story called The Memo That Changed Hollywood, and that memo was basically laying out the hero's journey, and that's something that every single Pixar movie uses. Very basically, that's the standard setup for storytelling. You have to hit these 12 beats through your story, and then you'll have a successful story no matter what else is going on. And I'm gonna stop talking now, but you just mentioned Vader being awesome, and that led right into all that Joseph Campbell stuff, which, I mean, if you're a fan of Star Wars and or any other mythology or anything like that, that's all that this guy was into, was figuring out, why do people talk like, why do people tell these stories? Like, he went all around the world and figured out, like, how come the Native Americans were telling this story and they'd never had any contact with, you know, let's say Japanese people or African people at this time, and yet they're still telling almost the exact same story and in the exact same way. Why? And that's the kind of theory that's behind this. So very interesting stuff, I find.
All right. I'm going to log off for just 1 second because I just pulled in my driveway, and as soon as I disconnect from my car, the audio is going to cut out. So I'm going to log out. I'll log back in just a minute. All right.
We'll see you soon.
All right.
Got rid of him.
Damn.
Yeah. That's all it takes. Wax intellectual on Joseph Campbell for 5 minutes straight, and the people just leave.
Hey, Nostra, dumbass. Did the rapture come? I can't recall. Oh, in fact, I can recall, and it didn't, and you suck.
Oh, me, oh, my. Actually, before I wanted to mention, as Boba Fett being one of my favorite characters, I mentioned this when I was on this show a couple weeks back when we were talking about the Book of Boba Fett, but the Bounty Hunter Wars trilogy, one of my favorite Legends material, and it explains how Boba got out of the Sarlacc pit and what he did after that. Obviously, it's different than Book of Boba Fett. They went in a different direction with that, and what are you gonna do? I feel like it wasn't as good as what was in the Bounty Hunter trilogy, but I also knew there was no way they were gonna do that. So, oh well. It makes me a little bit worried about Kenobi, but
yeah, because I'm wondering if they'll take any elements from the book at all. I mean, I'm not saying making the book into the series, but because there are some cool elements in the Kenobi book that I think would be interesting in the series, but we'll see.
And I don't know. Well, I know from just watching the trailer that they're look. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, it's raining, so my internet's cutting out. That's typical.
Nice.
That's great. Okay.
And here we go.
Things and
How's that for an intro? Cam's back.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Did you guys ever notice this similarity between Star Wars and Blade?
No, I hadn't noticed that, but I did notice the difference between Blade and Mortal Kombat Annihilation, where Raiden and one of those weird ninja dudes does the exact same thing.
Is that?
Yeah.
So what? Why are you guys whipping at each other? Do you not know how long your legs
Raiden
are?
in that movie didn't even get a fight scene. And it's him doing gymnastics with a ninja, and that's the fight scene. They don't try to hit each other. They're just doing flips and spin kicks, and it's like,
do some magic or something. Come on. Come on.
But now, in whatever year this is, the audience wants action and seats with beverage holders, but mainly action.
Actually, what I really like now in the theaters, I always go to the one that I know has them, is the reclining seats. Oh,
I wish mine had them.
the theater near you doesn't have those?
No,
There's
we're a
like
small town.
3. I'm in the Baltimore, DC area, so there's like tons of theaters around. But I always try to go to this one that I know has like not as big as a population as some of the other ones, and it's got the nicer seats, and it's reserved seating, so you don't have to like run in and try and get the best seat. It's like, these are my seats, bro. I got on my phone. What an age we live in.
Yeah, my theater doesn't have either one of those. If I wanted that, I'd have to go up to Fort Wayne, which is a bigger town.
How long of a drive would that be?
Let's see. Probably the theater I'm thinking of that I think has the reclining seats and all that. It's probably anywhere from 20 minutes to a half hour.
See, that'll get you time to listen to those audiobooks.
see, exactly. See,
Get the better
Chris is
seats,
thinking on his feet.
and then
But I can just go 2 minutes down the road.
and then you don't.
I'm a
Listen to those
hermit. I don't go
audiobooks.
anywhere if I don't have to. So
I hear that though. Okay, so next I want to hear, and this is going to be difficult for me. I'm going to have to think about it, so I hope you guys have a good answer. Do you have a favorite Star Wars video game?
I've only played 3 in my lifetime.
What 3 Star Wars video games have you played?
I'm not a gamer, so I completely suck, but I enjoyed playing them. X-Wing.
Classic.
And yeah, X-Wing, Star Wars Galaxies.
Oh yeah. Actually, that exists now again. I just downloaded it.
What?
Yeah. It's free, and they reloaded the entire game. I can look up what it's called. What's it called? Restoration. Star Wars Galaxies Restoration. Look it up. Star Wars Galaxies. It's the same game. I was just playing it. I was like, what? This is crazy, because I remember playing that game all the time, and the loading is faster. Because if you remember playing that game back when Star Wars Galaxies came out, that was like, you log in, then it's like, I'm gonna go make some food, take a shower or something, and maybe then I'll be loaded into the game. It's so much faster than that now, thank goodness. But yeah, Star Wars Galaxies, if you're a fan, look it up. Star Wars Galaxies Restoration. You're not alone. There are other people out there that are playing that game right now.
And
So what was the other game? I know I cut you off. I think that was the
That's
second
all
game.
right. The third game was, and I don't know if it was Xbox, PlayStation. I don't know what it was, but
X Station, Nintendo.
it was Pod Racer.
Oh yeah, they did a
That
remake
one
of that
I was
too.
halfway decent at. That was the only game I was halfway
Wasn't
decent
that on Nintendo 64?
It was
maybe-
on a couple different
Maybe it
things.
was. Maybe it was.
But I know I
64.
played it on 64. And
I
also,
think my son had told me that, and I was like, "What? I thought it was an Xbox."
the best way to play it though is you go to an arcade and you get in the pod, and they had the things like that exists. So here's the thing: that whole gaming platform, like sitting in the pod, and that arcade thing exists. Well, somebody remastered that game with an Unreal Engine graphics, and I played that on my computer, so it's like pod racing but like nice graphics. I'm saying if you get me some like virtual reality goggles and hook me up into that pod, you're just minting money. It's like, I don't, how that's such an easy thing to do.
Shut up and take my money.
Like, I will buy the pod racing game. I'll buy the full pod. Like, you know how many people would buy that? The whole pod? Star Wars fans are nuts. And pod racing is a thing that a lot of people like. Especially, I mean, like, as if we'd never seen pod racing before.
Use the Force, Luke. Let go.
I have
pod racing.
Now this is pod racing. Absolutely.
I have watched my youngest son. I've watched him play Fallen Order, and I've watched him play the Lego Star Wars games. And he's got the Skywalker saga pre-ordered Legos. So it'll be fun to watch him play that too. So
Absolutely. Cam, did you have a favorite video game, or have you only ever played 3? And what 3? Or what's your situation?
fun of me?
No, I'm using you as a sweet example.
He's using you as a stepping off point for the rest of the conversation.
It's a segue.
Yes. Well, I'll follow Debbie's example, and my 3 favorite Star Wars games. At the very top of the list is honestly Fallen Order. I really loved the gameplay. I love a good story-driven single player game, and the scope of the game was just insane. The gameplay was great. I loved the characters. The story was really well crafted. And just below that, like I'm talking a hair below it, is Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh yeah, baby.
That's absolute classic. Yes.
Seek out ye the Holy Grail.
Yes.
I've played that one. I sucked at it, but I played that one.
And
so I lied.
Played
It's
that
4.
one over and 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 over. That was on my Xbox. I remember the original Xbox. I'd be like, Star Wars. And that was Jedi fighting a bunch of Sith too. Anyway, great stuff. Go on, Cam.
And now this last one it's not a good game. It is definitely not a good game, but it's a game that I have a lot of nostalgia for because it was the first Star Wars game that I ever played, and it was the Phantom Menace on PC back in like 1999 or 19. I honestly don't remember if it came out before or after the movie. I'm sure it came out after, but I mean, it was like in that general time period. I was like 7 years old.
Because that was back in the day when every movie got its own game.
Yeah.
Pretty much, kind of. But
and I put mad hours into that game. Like I'm talking, I was like, especially on Tatooine, because that gives you the most options to explore. Man, I got every nook and cranny in that damn place.
Yeah, that was a fun game. I know you justified it by saying it's not a good game, but for when it came out, it was a great game that I played for a long time. Like when Return of the King came out, and actually those games are awesome. I was thinking of the Two Towers and Return of the King. I played them on GameCube, but I actually have them on an emulator now, and I was replaying them, and I was like, these are just awesome. I wasn't wrong at all. They're playing actual scenes from the movie for cutscenes. This is perfect.
It doesn't get much better.
Remaster that, and I'll again.
Shut up and take my money.
I will throw money at you. And I know I'm not alone.
Now, my oldest son, he played the crap out of Heir to the Empire.
Oh, yeah. I've played so many Star Wars games. Oh, my gosh. David Furr, hope you have a great show. We have been. Can't wait to be back next week. We can't hour. So We want you to be back too, so you can make a better background that doesn't say it's the Cant Hour. Someone didn't plan this very well. Would you get your
Come
degree
back
in
and make it
graphic
right.
art?
Anyway, Dave's going to be back to talk about everybody's favorite Star Wars movie, Attack of the Clones. So,
all right, everyone can agree. Actually, why didn't anyone say that as their all-time favorite? It's like, one of the best things about that film is Jango Fett and seismic charges. Love it.
Of course.
But so like I said, there's good and there's bad in almost any of these films. And Stuart said I kind of like The Last Jedi. There you go. I kind of There we go.
It's okay. It's all right. well, we've already discussed this like at length before, and we've come to the understanding that nothing you say will make me love it less, and nothing that I say will make you love it more. So it's okay.
Yes, it is. But it's also not really any. Anyone can open any. Can just search YouTube and be like Last Jedi, and there's just like, here's people fighting for hours. So I don't feel like we need to do that. Plus, like you said, we've done it before. So go find that wherever that was and watch us do it there.
It was on one of my statuses at some point. I mean,
oh god, it's like, why? Just go. Keep scrolling. What am I? Let him like the movie, and you go not like the movie somewhere else. Oh, me.
And it's like, wait a minute, what did he say?
I went into full MCU Mondays mode.
I will be talking for myself. This is an open and shut case, and anybody who can't see that is a savage and an idiot.
Okay.
But Debbie's not there to calm me down at times like that. I just go full blast.
Yes, every single thing I say offends them.
Who are you calling them?
What were you about to say, Debbie?
I was just going to say it probably gets out of hand if I'm not there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Every time.
I need Debbie here. She's my muse.
She tells me when...
knock them.
Hey, Chris, you're that handle. You're flying off it right now. That's what she does for me. She lets me know. And then I usually am rude, and then I apologize later. So we have our... It's a back and forth.
I can take it.
Anywho, speaking of Star Wars video games, a whole series that I've always been a fan of, both the classic and actually the new ones, are the Star Wars Battlefront games. Now, I loved the classic ones because you could board the ships and like take them out from the inside, which was, if they could do it 20 years ago, why couldn't they do it in the new ones? Curse you, EA, and the EA Empire. Because
no, that was just one of those microtransactions that you skipped over.
Yeah.
Oh, I could have bought in. Well, I like how somebody had calculated in Star Wars Battlefront 2. They were like, in order to earn everything that they have for you to purchase through microtransactions, in order to earn it through just playing the game, you have to play for like 200 years straight. And it's like, so that's clearly, and then, so EA got taken down, and a lot of companies did, over the gambling systems and the microtransactions. But even that aside, the thing is, there used to be tons and tons of different Star Wars games from all different kinds of developers and producers. Now, first of all, developers starting eating each other, so that cut down on the number of different studios out there. But also, when Disney bought Star Wars, they signed an exclusive contract with EA saying only EA could make Star Wars games. And now, however you feel about EA, they are capable of making some games. A Fallen Order is one of theirs, Battlefront 2. So, but some studios are better at making some games than other. And frankly, I'm really glad to hear that is now going to be over. and we can have a bunch of other studios making Star Wars games, maybe some ones that are, because before EA, they were like, here's 20 games in 5 years. And then 5 years of EA is like, here's 4 games. It's like, I want more options. And Ubisoft, actually, the makers of things like Assassin's Creed, are making a Star Wars game. So if you make a Star Wars game that's essentially Assassin's Creed, but instead of getting in my rowboat and row to the next land, I hop in my starship and shoot off to another planet, where's my shut up and take my money button? I scrolled away.
Shut up and take my money.
Okay, like, I am so psyched for that. I cannot even begin. And hey, maybe I wouldn't have appreciated it as much if it hadn't been for the EA empire. It really started to make me appreciate those other things. You need the bad to appreciate the good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really hope that that Quantic Dream gets their stuff on track, because I as a developing studio, I love Quantic Dream. Detroit Become Human is one of my all-time favorite games. Heavy Rain is another really good one. Beyond Two Souls, another really good one. And you know, they love the narrative based, you know, like choice and story driven stories. And so, like, yeah, give me a Star Wars game that's modeled after Detroit, that has like 60 different endings and, like, you know, hundreds and hundreds of hours of different story threads to explore. It's like, give me that.
Yes, exactly. Like, shut up and take my money. No offense to EA about that. Like, the Battlefront games are done pretty well. There are things I would have changed about them, like microtransactions aside, the actual gameplay. Like, I play still to this day the Starfighter Assault mode in Star Wars Battlefront 2 because I love flying around in those ships, and that, frankly, is right now the best game out there to do that, in my opinion. Because I love playing Rogue Squadron when that was on N64, and I have that on emulators now, but I'd love to see something new like that, and I'd love to just have the different options, because like I was saying, some studios are better at making certain kind of games than others. You know, like a Bethesda game, you're gonna know that's a Bethesda game. Like Skyrim, Fallout, they share these characteristics when you play those types of games. People like those games partially because of the developers that make them. So the same thing with Star Wars. Like, anyone can slap, you know, Star Wars skins on whatever game, but some people like different styles of games more than others. So put that variety out there and you're gonna have a market, especially for something like Star Wars, which, again, so many people enjoy in many different ways, which is part of what this entire stream was trying to be about, is that these are things that I like about it. What do you like about it? Hey, that's great. What do you like about it? What, you know, isn't it great that we can all share a love of this thing, even if we don't all agree on all parts of it? And I know how difficult that can be, because the freaking sequel trilogy made Star Wars seem like the schism of the Catholic Church. So, you know, it's like Protestants and, you know, you're one of those people, and I got my 95 theses I'm nailing up on the wall, and it's like, this is why you can't do this. It's like, it's too late. It's already done. Well, what about this? That's Legends now. It's not canon. It's like, calm down. You can like that, and I can like this, and it can all be fine. It can be. Of course, it is also fun to, like, argue. So I'm not saying it can't happen. Feel free to debate and have fun. That's just not what we were about here today. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You guys feeling me? Are you feeling me, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm feeling you.
You remind me of my wife.
I'm sorry?
I said you remind me.
No, I'm sorry that you said that while making heavy eye contact and applying lip balm.
I think I ran out of Star Wars clips. All my other clips are MCU based. Or like Futurama.
Kiff, we have a conundrum.
Oh my goodness. Trying to think where else I'd want to go in this stream. Or are we done? What do you guys think?
Collectibles.
See, I personally, that's why I wish David was here. Maybe he can chime in next week and talk about that, because he has just the Lego collection of a god.
That he does.
Like, I remember I sent a meme to one of our group chats about like some girl was making fun of her boyfriend for having toys or whatever, Legos, and he just replied with like 5 or 7 pictures of just walls of his Legos, and I was like, that is astounding. That is impressive, and that is awesome. And it's also like, how do you keep your kids from breaking this? I never actually asked him that, but how does he actually do that? Because I've met kids, I've been
behavioral
a kid,
conditioning,
and
it's like Pavlov with his dogs. Anytime his kids got close to his collection, he would just ring a bell and it would scare them off.
And then they'd start salivating because oh crap, I need a different trigger. Okay, but collectibles. So I myself don't really have. I have a couple of Legos, and I have some like people have got me like some Funko Pops and different things, but I don't go out of my way to collect any particular Star Wars. I just have a great variety of random Star Wars stuff, like articles of clothing. If I wanted to, I could fully deck myself out in Star Wars clothing, like as far down as belts. I have a Boba Fett belt, pants. I have Star Wars themed pants. I have so many shirts, socks. I have Boba Fett shoes. I have a pair of shoes I almost never wear. I wear them like one time because they're super sweet, and they've got Boba Fett on them, and I don't want to ruin those shoes. So, well, as far as collectibles go for me, I don't really have that many, but it's kind of just a wide variety of things. It's like, oh, is that Star Wars? Yeah, yes, give it to me.
Well, speaking of Boba Fett and Pop Funkos,
hey, look at that, Boba Fett.
I have a lot of them.
Oh
and,
wow!
Well,
there you go.
One of my favorites is one actually that my wife bought me. It is Jedi Knight Revan.
Oh,
it's Revan with like a hood.
Stop glare. There we go.
It's yes, there it is. Oh, I do like that.
Yep. But otherwise, like my favorite collectibles that I have are like all the lightsabers and stuff that I've got. I've got Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber. I've got Exar Kun's lightsaber, which is just
sweet.
Oh, it's so badass.
Sweet.
Yeah, I've got quite a few, and each one of them is very, very special to me for a multitude of reasons.
Well, I'm gonna try and adjust my camera here. Ooh.
Focus.
Yeah, focus.
Focus. Let's see.
I have my New Hope, or just the Star Wars poster.
Star Wars.
Then I have Darth Vader, which is a lithogram limited edition. Then I have the you can't really tell. It's the Millennium Falcon.
Okay, yeah.
It's also a lithogram limited edition by the hell?
Sorry.
You're one to talk, Debbie. With Chewbacca running around knocking stuff over half the time.
It's by the Hildebrandt brothers, signed limited edition. And then at the bottom where you see it's white, they draw a little character or something. It's really cool. And then in my front room, I have 4 or 5 more of the Hildebrandt brothers lithograms, limited editions. Another Darth Vader, R2 and C-3PO. Oh gosh, I should know because I look at them. They're right above my TV. But yeah, those are my pride and joy. And then I have, I don't know, probably 40, 50 T-shirts.
Absolutely.
I've got pins that my daughter has gotten me for Christmas.
And you got books.
Yeah, I've got books. I stick these on my lab coat. They're little lapel pins. So I stick those on my lab coat at work. And then I have some, not very many, but I do have some Funko Pop figurines or whatever. So, yeah.
Very nice. David, we mentioned that, I don't know, you might have been switching over from Facebook to YouTube, but I mentioned that your Lego collection,
Your ungodly amount of Legos.
your legendary Lego.
It is definitely not ungodly. It is godly.
Yeah, it's godly.
I would just hate to try and dust them. That would be a bear.
Compressed air.
Yeah, he uses a keyboard duster.
These are all things we're interested in. How do you maintain that collection? How do you keep it clean?
I wonder if he glues them together so if the kids knock them over, they don't come apart.
You mean with the Craggle?
Break into a million pieces.
You think he used the Craggle on those Legos?
I'm just saying.
Lego movie reference. Crazy glue. You think he used the crazy glue on those? Which, as a kid, I would have considered a crime, but now that I'm an adult,
You said blasphemy.
I still kind of think it's bad, but I gotta feel like if it gets knocked out, you can just make it over again, right? Keep on the instructions, right? Where's your library of instruction manuals, my man? Where are the boxes? Do you keep all the boxes? These are all things that I'm curious about after seeing that many Legos.
Yeah, he might just keep them in like a big ass binder, and then they're in protective sheets.
I think he doesn't glue them, is what I'm picking up.
He laminates every page of the instruction books.
With a makeup brush? Are you kidding me? God, that would take forever.
Well, it's just like it working in a museum. Think about Wonder Woman, you know? She dusts. I don't know. That's all I know about museums. Is that her cover was working. Wouldn't that be ridiculous? If that was the only thing that I knew about museums, is that from what I've heard, that Wonder Woman, her secret identity was working in a museum. I don't know what a museum is, but it is where she worked, and she had one of those very small brushes when she was dusting a statue of something.
And so, see, all I can think about is Scott Pilgrim. Whenever he's talking about, tell it to the cleaning lady on Monday because you'll be dust by Monday. The cleaning lady.
She comes. Well, it's Friday.
She
she's off on the weekend, so on Monday, she dusts. Absolutely, dude.
I also have thumb drives. I have
those are.
I have a stormtrooper somewhere, but I can't find it. And then I have the I forget what year it came out, but it's the big 3 or 4 volume in Star Wars encyclopedia. That back in the day, it cost like $200. I don't know what it is now, but
it's free online. Let's see. Dave, 4-drawer with hanging folders and instructions sorted by set number. So,
oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's got like a Lego Dewey Decimal System.
If you're gonna have that, I mean, how else would you
keep track Dave, of it? You're anal.
Actually, you know what you should start doing is start selling tickets to the inside of your house, man. Because I'm kind of curious at this point, you know.
Why go to Legoland? Shut up and take my money.
I'm just saying. Oh, I didn't play this one.
I gotta say, Boba, this is one beauty of a ship. Not crazy about the name, though.
Okay, I was like, I know I have another Star Wars clip. There it is. Okay. So, dog.
That's 1. And that's 2.
And my daughter got me this. Her and my oldest son went to a Comic-Con down in Indianapolis. And because I love cats, she got me this mouse pad.
Oh, nice.
With a cat on it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it scare your mouse?
My mouse likes it.
Yes, that's right. The level of humor that I bring to the table is unmatched because most people rise way above that kind of thing.
Was that Ahsoka on that mouse pad?
Yeah.
Or a Ahsoka?
Ahsoka, yes. And then there's Chewie.
That's a collectible right there.
That's right. She wrecks havoc, but
All right. I think we're going to wrap it up with this Star Wars Geek News Now, Cantina Happy Hour, Cantina Happy Hour. Don't forget to check the description of the video so you can get in on some sweet Batman prizes absolutely for free. All you have to do is enter the contest, follow the link, enter the contest, and you can win some free stuff. Nothing better than that. I want to thank my guests today, Debbie and Cam, wonderful members of the Geek News Now team. You can find more Geek News Now by going to geeknewsnow.net. And of course, you can check out our YouTube and Facebook page. Just go to either place and search Geek News Now. Don't let it autocorrect you to Greek News Now. It will try, and don't let it, I'm just saying that happens to me every time. I'm like, no, why would I care about that? I'm not Greek. I'm a geek. Nothing against the Greeks, though.
Oopa.
Anyway, that's it for us here today. Next week, you'll be back with your regular host, David. I'm just filling in for today, so don't worry. You'll probably have a much better show next week. Anyway, that's us. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Everybody.
Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. Give me the Star Wars. Don't let them in. How about that nutty Star Wars bar? Can you forget all the creatures in there? And hey, Darth Vader in that black and evil mask. Did he scare you as much as he